Secret Knowledge is a nonprofit that helps creative people like you get down to business because artists struggle to make it, and talent alone isn't enough. Secret Knowledge presents skills you need to make it here.
The idea behind this particular class is to address how we talk about what we're doing. Really, I mean, that's what marketing is. We think of it as like, oh, is it advertising? Well, yeah, sure. Is it, handing someone your business card? Yeah, sure. Is it what you say when someone asks you what you do or what you're up to? Yeah, absolutely. But the things that we really tend to struggle with are knowing ourselves or knowing the thing we're doing in a way that is simple, that's uncomplicated, in a way where you can actually communicate it clearly. The fact is that when I'm trying to write about something, I struggle with the same things that other people do, which are, gosh, is this really true, this thing I'm saying? I have a dedication to being honest in what I'm telling people, and I don't want to lie to them, right? And I don't want to be lying to them by overstating something that's going to be misleading to them. I'm not saying everyone in this world markets the same way, but I have a way that I like to do it where people can trust what I'm telling them. For example, you guys all saw a thing that said something to the effect of secret knowledge of clear and clever marketing. And it said something about how to find the magic words in a world where there are no magic words. So that was my promise, that you would actually get something, useful out of it. But I had to temper that against, I could be saying a lot more. How to force people using your mind to buy the thing you're selling. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why I didn't have that be the message of it, and because A, that's not the point. B, it sounds wicked, and also because I wanted to make it clear that I wasn't really going to be giving anyone anything magical, like that. The techniques and the things that are a process, it makes what you're trying to do happen. It's not. I mean, the end result to other people might be that, oh my gosh, where did you come up with that clever thing? It's so clear, but it's not some magical information that is beyond, it doesn't require something you don't have. It's accessible in that way. Here are the questions that you ask. So you first have to decide, who are we trying to reach with this message? And it isn't just for selling things. It's for, if you're trying to do a press release or, anything where you're trying to communicate something to anybody. It could be an advocacy message. The first thing I should state is that there's no such thing as a general audience. We need to, in order to make a marketing message that is something that people are really going to respond to or resonate with them, we need to know who those people are. We don't need to know their address or even their middle initial or even their name. We just need to know about them. Who are these people? How do I define some set of group that isn't the whole world, that isn't just my whole town, but that are specific people? And that's the way I work too. I think about people, and I actually think about people I know if I can, if there's people that I've actually encountered. Michael, you gave the example that you had an experience of selling watercolor paintings to a guy in a limousine. You could, if you wanted to build on that particular market that you found, the limousine art market, you could think about who that person was. Why were they buying,
For his daughter.
Okay, he was about people with daughters who
with better market.
Right.
Fathers buying for their daughter.
Right, sure. So, I mean, things like that, who that person is, he's of a certain age that he could have a daughter, he's doing a certain kind of work where he can afford to buy watercolors from Michael, whatever it is, he has some reasons for doing it.
Yeah.
And you need to be as specific as possible. Don't worry that you're going to actually miss out on all these people if you don't broaden it out. The fact is that people see your message for whatever reason they see it, and it'll either resonate with them or it won't. But targeting it to some group of people that you understand is hands down better than just sort of throwing up your hands and saying, oh, well, everyone needs a walking stick.
So how do you find that? How do you understand who your market is and what your niche is?
Let's do that for Tabor Space. I think the simple answer is you bear down and do it. You just think about it very hard. But for, but in more.
Sometimes there are surprises. I think with Tabor Space, there were some surprises about what our main market
Tell me about those surprises. Who did you think it was, and what's been surprising?
Well, I've only been here for a year, but I think when I was talking to my boss, Lauren, when she first started the organization, she had been sort of thinking that Tablespace might be a hub for activism and be maybe a younger
Sure.
crowd.
I can see that in the way that it's market that the writing is done. I mean, it doesn't say "come here, activists," and we're gonna hub out together, but I, as a guy starting a nonprofit, saw it and was like, "Oh, this is a place for me to do this kind of thing at."
Yeah.
But
So
what you found was what?
We have that, and we have also a lot of like holistic health professionals.
Sure.
And groups, and I think that was part of our original vision. We wanted to reach out to our community, which has a lot of many different facets to it.
Sure.
We also wanted to be accessible to families, and we get that too. In terms of like being a music venue, it's been all over the place. That's been really interesting.
The challenge with Tablespace is that it's a bunch of different kinds of businesses rolled in one. All right, there's the cafe of people in the morning time and people who want Wi-Fi and a nibble. Okay, there's that business. Wi-Fi and a nibble. Actually, you can.
I'm gonna write that down.
You can have Wi-Fi and a nibble for free.
All right.
Please, please. That happens to me.
That is beautiful.
I make a joke, and it turns out it's actually a pretty good slogan. I can't always convey that, but I guess my technique is apparently to make fun of whatever the group is that we're trying to define, and in the process, I end up coming up with a cute way of reaching them. Yeah, well, okay. So there's the Wi-Fi and the nibble crowd. There's this is basically some kind of a daycare crowd, right? Am I wrong about that? No, there's a group of people for whom this is some kind of a daycare. This is a place that's been a church, and it's not out of line with the building's history to have there be. Well, actually, isn't there like a daycare in the back or something?
Preschool.
A preschool. Okay, so I mean, proximity to that certainly stirs that up. One of the reasons that you're getting crossover there, besides that it's just nearby, is that there's a social perception because of the preschool being nearby, like people seeing the playground and the toddlers walking by, they're going to think, oh, that is what's happening there. So one challenge you might be encountering with getting young hip people to come here and use the Wi-Fi and nibble on the gluten-free muffins may be that they're like, I don't want to be around a bunch of kids. And they're seeing a bunch of kids coming in at the time when they're considering their Wi-Fi options. So that could be it. This is not saying you don't get to do it. It's just like, okay.
I'm not taking it personally.
Oh, I know. But I'm just saying, when we come up with a challenge like that, it's like, well, how do we then address that? Right?
Yeah.
So.
And I guess this is your whole whole point.
Right.
That we need to know our market and know ourselves more specifically, and
Yes, you do, but I wouldn't. My recommendation is not to spend so much time at the front figuring out who your market is that you don't then just try and do things, because you learn a lot more from trying to do things. In fact, all of these things that we're talking about, you guys have learned from being in operation for a good long while, and I think in almost no circumstance do I recommend the kind of planning. Planning's important, but the kind of planning that doesn't cause anything to happen quite soon. There's a plague of that in this world. That's not how I run Secret Knowledge, certainly. Like, I was like, okay, we've got a name, we've got a corporation. I'll give myself a little while to make a website, and then it was like, all right, well, let's start doing some programming. Like, while I'm waiting for the IRS to show up with the determination letter, I'll just, do the thing that I'm saying we're going to do. Same here. Like, if you want to try one of these, that seems easy, like the Wi-Fi and a nibble, highlighting those features, the comfort of it, whatever it's going to be, that's probably going to be the direction you should take it. Don't feel like you need to understand everyone perfectly before you can try it out. And we're still on step one, identify the audience. Who are you trying to reach? Your next question is, what action do you want them to take? So, who is it you're trying to reach? Who's your audience? What action do you want those people that we've just defined those various groups of people, what action do you want them to actually take? What do you want them to do? And keep in mind, just knowing that you guys exist is not an action. I mean, it's awareness, but it has nothing to do with anything that really causes your business to, I mean, sure, people knowing that you're there means they might consider doing something there, but you really want them to do the thing that you're selling. You want guys like me to look at this place and say, wow, this is a really easy place to book. That is the reason why I book here. Why this class is happening in this room is because it was pretty simple, and now it's really dead simple for me to schedule this, and it takes a load off of the work of figuring out where and how. Step 3, or question 3, or thing you need to figure out 3, is what do they need to hear? What do they need to hear in order to take that action? Like, what is it that they need to hear? I think I'm going to go through like the rest of the questions. Then we can kind of like do it step by step again. We spent a long time on that first one, but that's important. You need to do it. You know, these other ones kind of can go a little faster, right? And then there's who do they need to hear it from? Like what are the qualities of the messenger that are going to, you know, really help to convince that group of people? Don't be afraid to employ messengers that are human beings. In fact, if you can, there's really not a lot much more that's more powerful than that if you can do it right. On the subject of getting, soliciting people that you know to act as endorse you, to write endorsements, it is totally okay for you to write those or draft them for them. I'm giving you permission today to go ahead and write those for people, because if there's someone who you think is awesome, chances are they're awesome because they're busy, and it may be that the thing that stands between you emailing them and saying, "Hey, buddy, can you write me a thing," and them writing back with an actual thing you can use, might just be that they need something that they can edit. Editing, of course, is a much faster process than writing from scratch, and they're more likely, if you give them an outline quote, they're more likely to be able to hit the points you want. Don't be afraid if you've got like an articulate friend to just let them write, because sometimes that people come up with things that are so insightful. I've had some amazing testimonials written for me that I would never have imagined asking someone, like writing on behalf of myself for someone else to, ghostwriting that thing. And the things that they identified were things that I was totally blind to, Yeah, I mean, it's a different person's voice. They're able to say things more powerfully than you are. That's actually one reason to have someone outside of the voice of the thing that's being sold is that the problem that we have of reading someone's writing that seems cocky or pretentious or inauthentic, even when it's true. Like if I say something that's true about what I do, and I know it's true, and people that know me know it's true, but a new person who doesn't know me and is reading it is like, this guy, like, I don't want to be in a room with him. He's going to be icky, right? He's going to be an icky man that I don't want to hear from. He's going to be like overbearing and not listening, Whereas if I get someone else to write the thing, and they're able to say things from their own experience that in no way reflect on my ego on the page. Yeah.
It's always better having somebody else,
It's often better. It's not always. That's why we still have to ask the question of who do they need to hear it from? Or
if what you're writing about your work isn't about yourself, but if it's very clear that you're inspired about your work.
Oh, sure. Right. Okay, you're right.
I find that that's what draws me in.
Right.
If it's clear that your vision is authentic.
Sure. Right.
And then also
Right. Authenticity definitely does win, and you can be the source that is the person that is the voice to the people you're trying to reach. Yes, you can.
Sorry for arguing with you.
No, please. I am agreeing with what you're saying.
Is there any downside to doing, I'm thinking about my business has lots of different audiences,
You teach.
And
You teach cello.
perform. I teach cello, yes. I teach private lessons, but I also perform, and in the capacity of, I write my own music and have my own like thing that I'm marketing in
Yep.
that regard. But I also perform other people's music, and that's like a totally different audience
Yep.
a lot of times,
Yep.
because I don't necessarily want to say, hey, I'm a folk singer or cellist, to the people who want like a really highly skilled classical professional who's going to come in and play in their orchestra or something.
Right.
And then I also do studio work. So I'm wondering, like, if there's any downside to using these questions and marketing myself in really different ways.
I don't.
If there's any areas where that conflicts.
Okay.
And how do you do that if you have like one website hub that's like,
Right.
this is where I'm pointing everybody, and some people I want to see this part of it, and some people I want to
You want to see
this
that
of
part?
it.
Well, that's a great question. So you've got a few different kinds of being a professional musician that work that you do, and it has all different audiences that come from a bunch of different sectors, and they go to your website for varying reasons. As far as how to, once you've identified who those groups are and what they need to know, I think it's perfectly okay to start funneling those different audience people to very specific parts of your website that are targeted at them based on what they're interested in about you. And I don't think that if you do that consciously, where it's made very clear that this is about this part of your work, and you maintain alongside it, like if you're interested in the folk singer, cellist side of things, rather than lessons for your 14-year-old, click here. I mean, it's easy to guide people based on what their interest is in those aspects of you around your website, particularly if what you're starting with is sort of a this way, that way thing, and it's not too many different things. I think that the musician for hire is one business, and that includes playing in people's orchestras, playing in string sections on records, and probably doesn't include any wedding work, because that's a whole other website for you. You actually have a separate business for that. But you could refer to that. If you're looking for this, Anna plays with this other group, and you do a link to that, that's fine. So that's what, those two are both the same part of your website. The one that's about cello lessons is specific about you as a teacher. And you can refer to that from other sections of your website that are more about you as this other thing, you as this other thing. In fact, I think it's a good idea, because people who go to your show are surprised to learn that they could actually learn cello from you, yet many people who go and see a cellist play think that they should do it too. That's a common experience. Just like when I saw Karate Kid, I thought, maybe I could do the crane kick after I get out of this movie, right? So yeah, I think it is possible for you to direct those people around and have it be have each aspect of the work you're doing be contained where it is. You as a solo artist, that's specific about the shows that you're playing, booking information, your record, what you're saying about what's going on these days, signing up for your newsletter. People who are looking for cello lessons are probably not looking to sign up for your newsletter. I wouldn't think. They might, when they become a student for you, decide to do that. But they would do it because they got referred to, hey, want to hear what Anna does in this part of her life versus that? I think that's all perfectly okay. I don't think there's any downside to it. The real downside is that it can be very hard for you to, without first going through and specifically thinking about these different groups. It can be very hard for anyone to keep that clear. But if you go through and actually identify them, that's one of the things that does for you, is it really helps you to go, oh, this is about that. This is about that. And you can enumerate, I have only 3 of those different things, you know, and they need to hear, these people need to hear this thing, these people over here need to hear this other thing, and this third group of people, they need to hear this thing and they need to hear it from so-and-so.
Secret Knowledge is a nonprofit that helps creative people like you get down to business.